Salutations, bots and automatons. Welcome to the Autonomy School. Today's lesson is, why is learning languages so hard? I am sure many of you have asked that question in one way or another. You take your lessons in something that is supposed to be easy, like Spanish, but the words do not stick. Your teacher tells you to practice, 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 and your family tells you to remember to speak the language, because if you do not use it, you lose it. And you do use it, but you lose it anyway. In the end, you think your mind is just not built for learning languages, and you give up. By the end of this lesson, I hope not only to show you why it seems so hard to learn languages, but also I want to show you how to make learning easier. You see, it is not that the words you learned could not stick. It is that you did not need the words that you learned. Your parents told you, if you do not use it, you lose it. So, you use flashcards and other tools to use the language. But I will tell you, do not just use what you learn. Learn what you know that you will use. You see, the reason you cannot remember the words is your brain had no reason to remember them. I remember that I was in high school. I had studied Spanish for 3 years, and after 20 years, I cannot tell you anything of what I had learned. I had forgotten it all. However, I had a younger brother. He was fat. So, since this was during the time that I decided to learn Spanish in high school, I had an interest in Spanish and found out how to say fat in Spanish. I have not used that word in 20 years, nor did I so much as think about it. I had forgotten all of my Spanish words, even the ones that I had used, but I never forgot how to call someone fat. For you see, your brain takes in a lot of information, and for that reason, it is constantly filtering out anything it does not need, or anything it thinks it does not need. So, here you are. You take certain language learning apps to try again to learn Spanish, now that you are an adult. All the while, you remember people telling you that it is harder to learn as an adult than as a child, because the minds of children are like sponges and can learn anything. But you learn words like maleta and aeropuerto, meaning suitcase and airport, and after a few days, you forget them. Is it because you could not learn Spanish? Or is it because you did not even use the word suitcase in English? If you do not use the word in your own native tongue, why in the world would you ever use it in a foreign language? So, if you want to learn something, learn what you need. Learn to say what you know that you will say. What are the phrases you know you will use? As a teenager, I had a habit of saying, I want all the money in the world. I was a very strange child. So, I learned how to say that phrase in Spanish. And I never forgot how to say, quiero todo el dinero en el mundo. Even though I cannot remember when was the last time I had used that phrase. I know how difficult learning a new language can seem. So, if you desire to learn, I believe I have something that lowers the barrier of entry for you. At least for Spanish. I plan to add Japanese later. It is called autonomyschool.com. Go ahead, give it a try. The first lesson is free. For the next few lessons, the only cost is that you sign in. And if you like the way that this teaching style works, consider subscribing to it. $5 a month, and you will have access to all the lessons that I include later. Even if I make 100 Spanish lessons, or even if I add Japanese, or even if I create 5 languages and have 100 lessons each, you will have access to it all. I will say though, if you do choose to visit my website, you may notice that I have 5 lessons for now, but I have 30 ready, and I want to redo them However, I will upload them all so that at least you can learn Spanish while I am working on the remakes. Of course, you would wonder, will I actually learn Spanish this way? And personally, I believe with my method, you don't have a choice. But go ahead and try it anyway. And your meager contribution would enable me to focus on creating these lessons instead of whatever else I do to survive. Otherwise, please like and subscribe to this channel and share this with others so that we may grow and others will know of what you've learned. Anyway, I look forward to hearing about your growth. Until we meet again, class dismissed.